Good evening, family. Just wanted to add this to our group, man, because I know in the group we discussing the affairs of men, and I just wanted to bring it home with a little evidence as to why this group is so important. One of the reasons is that in order for us to move forward, I believe it's a must that we know exactly where we came from, exactly what happened to us. Because if you are alleged so-called African American in this country, you have the same questions that a lot of people that look like me and you have. What is our true origin? And what is our true origin? And I know that the history books told us that we came from Africa. We were brought over here on slave ships. But I'm here to tell you that that was not the truth. It was only told to us that way so that we do not decide to regain what was taken from us. Also, I know that when we think about Indians, because I know growing up, if you had natural curly hair or long curly hair, we would say, "Oh yeah, I got Indian in my blood." When the honest to God truth is that you don't have Indian in your blood. You are the Native American. And let me correct this term Indian. The term Indian was given to a certain group of people. The ones that we saw, if you used to watch the cowboys and Indian movies, you would see the alleged Indian with the long, straight hair. It's really the same as European, just grown out straight. And they'll have the two ponytails coming down the side. They had no other hairdo other than the mohawk. And this is what we all thought that the Native American was. They look like they look like Mongolians or Mexicans, more to say, than they did European. But if you look at them today, they share the same complexion as a European. The great majority share the exact same complexion as your modern European. They share the same complexion as the modern Mexican or the Mongolian. If you go up to Alaska and you'll see an Eskimo, you see the exact same look, same hairstyle, and probably the same culture. And I don't want to be disrespectful and say that these people were not in this country. I believe they were in this country as well, along with us. Some, and I'm talking about the ones that look more Mexican and more Mongolian. I believe that they were in this country just as long as us, because it's the same as on the continent of Africa, man. There are all shades of people, all many different hair textures. Same as if you go to India, you have dark people, you have lighter skinned people. You go to Brazil, you have the exact same thing. You have light people, dark people. You have people of all different kind of hair textures. That is just the nature of humans. But we were told that we were from Africa mainly because it's easier. They say, united, a people can stand, and divided, you fall. It's easier to divide people up. So those ones that also look like the Mongolians, we were all here, and we at one point in time we all worked together to maintain this part of the world. Same way with Mexico. If you look in the original maps, all the way up the left side of the map, majority of it was still considered Mexico, coming from Texas all the way up that right side of the map. Texas, Arizona, Utah, Colorado, all that, Oregon, all that was actually part of Mexico. So the thing about immigration is imposed borders that people who colonized this land created. All that side was Mexico. Believe it or not, all the middle of the map was once Louisiana. The whole middle of the map was Louisiana. When they came over, they took over the right side of this particular map we're looking at now. I'm going to even show those maps. But they took over the right side because that is, if we were to look at a globe on that, the right side of that is the direct route from Europe to America. So that is where on the right side of the map, this is where North Carolina, Georgia, all of this is where Maine, and all of this is where the 13 colonies began. This is where their entry into America, the colonizers' entry into America was. But on this particular map, I just want you to focus on this at the moment, just to prove my point. And I want you to look at how many nations are on this map. This is not just a map. This is actually a ledger of erasure. A evidence to show that the ones that we see on the reservation, they never have had, they were not all over this country like we would believe. You know, we were taught in school that majority of the Indians were killed off with famine and diseases brought in by the European and war. Not necessarily the truth. And don't get me wrong, some were, but that is not the whole truth. There's not that many of them. There never have been that many of them in this country. And there never, so therefore, their numbers have always been small because they were only a fraction of the people that were here. They were a small fraction of the people that were already in this continent. I'm going to actually play a clip of a Native American kind of explaining how many people that they had in this country around the turn of the century. Just give me a second, let me play it for you.
And friends. The game of who is the most important rules. It's embarrassing. At the turn of the century, American Indians numbered about 230,000.
Did you hear what he said? He said at the turn of the century, the American Indian numbered about 230,000. Now, I want you to look at this map right here. And I want you to look at these tribes. Those are hundreds of tribes. One of those tribes could have 230 members. Let's just think about the population of St. Louis right now. Back in the days, it used to be like 800,000 in the city of St. Louis. Right now, you have roughly 280,000 people in the city of St. Louis, what's considered St. Louis, about 280,000 people. And that includes St. Louis City and St. Louis County. And that's St. Louis. That's not even Missouri. That's St. Louis. Now, look at this map again. And look at all these tribes that are throughout this continent called North America. And I'm going to even include Canada, which it doesn't show, but only thing separate us from Canada is an invisible border set up by people who colonized. That is all one landmass. Even Canada is included. So let's get rid of everything we've been taught in school because it was programmed and it wasn't correct. This map is a ledger of people who were erased, and they weren't erased by death. Believe it or not. Every name etched here, every borderline, every shaded territory represents a nation, a culture, a people that were already present, thriving, and they were sovereign. And then they were running their own communities, cities, municipalities. This particular map was created in 1890. And if you look at it, it bears the title, and the title is The Indians in the United States. Now, if you believe the people they're talking about is the people that I just showed you in that video, or the stereotypical Indian, then you've already, you're already thinking wrong. And I understand that this may be a little bit confusing to most people, because you've been taught something totally different. This is called cognitive dissonance, meaning when the truth is much stranger than fiction. When I tell people that we were here from the beginning, way before this land was colonized, they will believe that I'm disregarding or disrespecting Africa. And let's just be truthful. If, according to anthropology, Africa is the start of civilization, if we just look at it from that standpoint, everybody on the earth is African then. No matter where you end up migrating to, if that is the cradle of civilization, then everyone's from Africa. If an Indian from Hindustan could say he's Hindu, and a Chinese person could say he's Chinese, or a Japanese person could say he's Japanese, or a European could say he's European, then you've been in this country even longer than they've been in those countries. So why can't you say you are American if you've been here thousands of years, just like they've been in Europe thousands of years, just like they've been in India thousands of years, just like the Chinese been in China thousands of years? Why can't you say you've been here thousands of years, which is the honest to God truth? Now, beneath this particular phrase called the Indians in the United States, that's a passive phrase that lies a little bit more to it. It has a very violent truth that these were not the Indians, like I say in this video I just showed you, as they like to romanticize it in the movies, in the cowboy Indian movies. Nor were these savages, like they taught us in the classroom, and nor did they die off. As I get into this, I'm gonna explain what this map really shows you. These were actually, when you look at all those names on this map, these were original governments of this land, each having their own system of law, trade, language, ceremonies, and sciences, each one. These were living federations of a landmass once called Turtle Island. Groups like the original Cherokee, the Choctaw, the Creek, the Chickasaw, you probably heard these in your family, which makes you believe you have Indian in you. Yet, even if you thought you had African in you, what African? What part? Africans don't even call themselves African. If they're from the Congo, they consider themselves Congolese. Africa is 52 nation states.